Poker2.Net presents Poker2Nite. Tonight we take you to the red carpet of the WPT Celebrity Invitational. A final table-list reality star Trishelle Cannatella will go on the clock with us in studio. We take a look at the NBC National Heads Up Championship field and debate who should be in and who should be out. And our very own Joe Sebok will tell you whose faces he must get inked on his body, all ahead on Poker2Nite. Thank you for joining us on Poker2Nite. I'm Scott Huff, he's Joe Sebok, and she's Dana Workman.
Hey guys, it is good to be back. I'm really excited to introduce a new segment called The Girls of Poker. And this week it's featuring Lauren Kling. But I'm even more excited to tell our audience how they too can participate in Mr. Sebok's tattoo prop bet.
Yeah, well, I'm not even a little bit excited, let me tell you. For all you guys out there who haven't heard at this point, I lost a ridiculous last longer prop bet to Gavin Smith and Jeff Madsen last week. The first person to get knocked out of the LAPC main event, which was me, of course, with pocket aces, has to get the other guy's faces inked somewhere on their body, as in tattoo. Not cool.
Can I ask you what you were thinking?
Obviously, I wasn't thinking. I think that goes without saying.
That much is clear. We'll talk about all of that and more later in the show. Now it is time for our weekly headlines. The WPT Celebrity Invitational took place last weekend at the Commerce Casino in LA. The event kicked off with a star-studded red carpet that included former Playmate of the Year and still smoking hot Jenny McCarthy, Wayne's World and Curb actress Tia Carrera, a surprisingly skinny Jerry Ferrera.
Turtle. Gotta love Turtle, right?
At Freaks and Geeks, and Inglourious Basterds star Sam Levine, and the incomparable, one-of-a-kind talent that is William Hung.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back.
Oh, I hope he just said peanuts.
And I hope we never have to hear that ever again. Anyway, making the final table of the tournament was reality TV star Trishelle Cannatella, who will join us right here in studio a little bit later. Now, Siebes, you get to play in the Invitational every year. I was excited. I got my second invite ever this season. Did not do really anything with it. But what are the odds of what ended up happening to us? There are 500-plus players at the WPT Invitational, celebrities, poker pros, whatever. You and I get seated directly next to each other in a random draw, which we picked out of two different bowls.
It happens. What can you do?
Better odds, you know, poker, we're always talking about the odds. Better odds, me winning the event outright, or you and I somehow in that room full of people being seated directly next to each other.
Well, it's obviously better odds than zero. Impossible, because you weren't going to win the thing. You know, the WPT Invitational for me is always a blast. We get to take our hats off a little bit. I get to have a couple cocktails when I play. It's not the best to be seated next to you, but luckily I was on your left, so I got to keep you, keep the beast caged a little bit.
Right. Yeah, somehow, though, you busted Tia Carrera twice, getting rid of most of the beauty at our table, picking up, I don't know, 100,000 in chips, and yet busted before me. So, who is the resident pro?
Yeah, I'm an aggressive player. I go to win the tournament or I get out of it, you know what I mean?
Recklessly aggressive. Well, the final table of the event is literally taking place right now as we speak. Go to worldpokertour.com to follow the action. Moving on to other tournament news, the North American Poker Tour held its inaugural event at the Venetian in Las Vegas. The main event attracted nearly 900 players, creating a first place of over $827,000. In the end, Tom King of Cards Marchese took down the title. The NAPT also held a $25,000 buy-in high roller shootout, and our resident high roller right here, Joe Sebok, went to Vegas to win it.
No, did not happen. Sadly for me, they did have a $25K shootout. I did drop $25,000. The bankroll is still stinging a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But truthfully, the weekend left me really impressed overall with the NAPT and how well they've set up this tour. PokerStars.net has done it before. They've got a number of these worldwide tours. And I think it's such a good decision to make the main event buy-ins $5,000 as opposed to $10,000. It really stimulates the poker economy, gets people playing that might not have normally. And I'm pretty fired up for the coming years with this tour.
And big news as the NBC National Heads Up Poker Championship finally released its invite list, along with automatic qualifiers like Phil Ivey, Phil Hellmuth, and last year's WSOP main event champ Joe Catta. Special invitations went to celebrities like Don Cheadle, Oral Hershiser, and Jennifer Tilly. In all, 64 players will participate for a $500,000 first place prize, and as always, each year, a lot of debate surrounding this. People love to debate who should be in, who should be out. So who are you most surprised to see not make the list this year?
Well, first off, I just love this time of year because it gives us things to fight about. It's one of the biggest fights every single year, without question. I think there's a lot of names that you can start with. J.C. Tran is somebody that comes to mind. But I also think that the biggest omission is Kathy Liebert, the #1 female player in the world. Unbelievable qualifications. She's been there. She's done that. So how do you leave her off the list? with apologies to Jennifer Tilly and some of the other ladies, but to me, this is a really, really glaring oversight.
Well, I mean, it seems like they're just trying to make a TV show here. I mean, I don't really understand how Kara Scott makes it in. It's nothing against her. She's done a lot in poker media, but I don't know what she's done. I don't know where her results make her worthy of one of the best 64 heads-up players in the world. I don't think she really qualifies. Phil Gordon, another guy, he's kept up a great profile in poker as sort of a poker entertainer.
Is he still playing poker?
But I don't know that I've seen him at an actual event. I know he plays a lot of Rochambeau. If there was an event for that, maybe he could do that. And then, of course, there's always the past World Series of Poker champs. I don't know how you feel about this. It seems like they get the auto invite. If you were ever heads up for a title or you're the champion of the World Series of Poker, you're there.
Right. Well, it's a tough spot because, of course, they're so relevant when they win the main event. But a lot of them sort of trail off into obscurity after that. So it really creates a catch-22 for these guys. So I kind of feel for them. I wouldn't want to put this list together.
All right, well, on that note, the Heads Up red carpet and draw party are on Thursday, and the tournament takes place this weekend at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. So check back next week for our recap and results. That's it for headlines. We'll take a quick break. Come back with Dana Workman and our first Girls of Poker feature right here on Poker2Nite. Poker2Nite is brought to you by UB.net. Raise, stack, own. Welcome back to Poker2Nite. I'm Scott Huff, and alongside me is a master of the prop bet, Joe Sebok. Joe, let's talk about your LAPC main event, last longer tattoo prop bet. Very good idea. How'd it go?
Well, normally to have the moniker of master, I think you have to be good at something, which clearly I'm not in this situation. Had the last longer bet with Jeff Madsen. Gavin Smith, I lost it. I have to get these two men's faces tattooed on my body. They are ugly dudes. Let's be honest, these are not attractive men. What can I do? I pick up two aces, I go broke. Such is life. There's nothing you can do about it. Clearly, I'm not happy about it. But at the end of the show, Dana Workman mentioned a little bit earlier that we're going to let you guys know how you can help share in my tattoo misery.
Wow, I'm looking forward to that. Well, the thoughts of having Gavin Smith and Jeff Madsen's mugs on your body, obviously not a pretty thought, so let's get those unpleasant images right out of your heads and go over to Dana Workman.